Malaysia Rubber Council MRC Industry Linkage Fund. I'm moderator for today, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Hajjar Latip from Research Nexus, Energy and Environment Renew UiTM, Office of Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research and Innovation UiTM. So we have today our speakers, Mr. Muhammad Aminuddin Nordin, Executive from Corporate Planning and Research, Malaysian Rubber Council, MRC. So before we started, may I read biodata of Mr. Muhammad Aminuddin Nordin. So Mr. Muhammad Aminuddin is a chemical engineering graduate from University Malaysia Sabah, UMS. He started his career in 2018 as a production engineer in Shah Alam, and currently he is executive in the corporate planning and research departments of Malaysian Rubber Council, MRC. He has been with the council since 2020 and is the person in charge for the Industry Linkage Fund Grant, ILF, which includes promotions of the funds to the research institutions and industry member, and also monitoring progress of approved project. Welcome, Encik Aminuddin, and thank you for having for being here with us today.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Hajjar, for inviting us today, and also thank you to the Research Nexus of UiTM for inviting MRC to give the briefing today to the researcher from UiTM.
All right. So without further ado, we would like to hear some guidelines and maybe tips from Encik Aminuddin about the Malaysia Rubber Council's Industry Linkage Fund. So you can start now, Mr. Aminuddin. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
I will start to share my presentation slide. Okay, first of all, thank you to all the participants from UiTM for coming here today to this just a short briefing session actually on the Industry Linkage Fund. So before I start the briefing session, I would like to give a little bit of introduction on what is Malaysian Rubber Council. So this is about us, the Malaysian Rubber Council, or MRC, or also formerly known as the Malaysian Rubber Export Promotion Council, was a company that was incorporated on 14 April 2000 under the Companies Act 1965. And it is actually a company limited by guarantee under the Ministry of Plantation Industry and Commodities, MPIC. And currently MRC is governed by a board of trustees that is appointed by the Minister of Plantation Industry and Commodities. And we are tasked to undertake the market promotion of quality Malaysian rubber and rubber products in the world market. And these are the vision and mission of MRC. Our vision is to make Malaysia as a leading exporter of quality and sustainably produced rubber product. And our mission is to facilitate and promote the export of quality and sustainably produced rubber products. Secondly, we wanted to identify new market opportunities for Malaysian rubber and rubber goods. And last but not least, we wanted to enhance the market access for Malaysian rubber and rubber products globally in the global market. So currently, these are some of our activities that we are doing. MRC provide a wide range of services to the Malaysian rubber product industry, including support for market promotion activities, market research, and also capacity buildings. While in international market, we work with business communities from different industry, such as from the healthcare industry, automotive industry, construction, mining, and also transport. Locally, our clients include small and medium enterprises, SMEs, and also large corporations that manufacture and export a wide range of rubber products. And in order to make sure that our activities are successful, we are currently collaborating closely with various rubber product associations such as the Malaysian Rubber Glove Manufacturers Association, MAGMA, and Malaysian Rubber Product Manufacturers Association, MRBMA, together with full support from the MPIC and also Malaysian Rubber Board, MRB, and the Malaysian External Trade Development Corporation, MATRID. So just for information, currently MRC has a total of 7 office globally, which is our main HQ in Q Central, Kuala Lumpur. And then there are some of our regional office, which is located at Washington DC, London, Saudi Arabia, Mumbai, Guangzhou, and also Shanghai. Okay, that is all on the introduction for the Malaysian Rubber Council. So without further ado, I will start the briefing session on the Industry Linkage Fund. So my presentation will be divided into 5 sections, which is number 1, the introduction to the Industry Linkage Fund itself. The second section will be the eligibility criteria to apply for the funding. Number 3 is the scope of funding. Number 4 is the application and approval process to apply. And number 5 is project implementation and monitoring. And before we end the session, maybe we can add the further Q&A and inquiry if there is any from the researchers. So on the introduction of the Industry Linkage Fund, the Industry Linkage Fund, or also better known as the ILF, is a grant that is launched on the 26th of September 2017 by the Minister of Plantation Industry and Communities. And it is actually a grant provided by MRC to promote the collaboration between Malaysian rubber products industry with universities or research institutions on research project that will contribute to the development of rubber industry in Malaysia, especially in the following area. The area is listed here. Number 1 is to increase export of rubber products and domestic consumption of rubber products produced in Malaysia. Number 2 is to increase consumption of rubber, whether it is raw or waste or reclaimed material, in new product development. And last but not least is to facilitate the manufacturing process of rubber products. So this is the objective of us doing the Industry Linkage Fund. We actually wanted to strengthen the rubber industry and university or research institution linkage in Malaysia for the development of the rubber product industry, and also to enhance the industry's competitiveness in the global market. And currently we have a total of 9 research priority areas for a project to be eligible to apply under the funding, in which the areas are listed here. Number 1 is latex-based product. Number 2 is dry rubber products. Number 3 is application of rubber in infrastructure and construction. Number 4 is solid waste reclamation or solid waste management. Number 5 is green and sustainable technology. Number 6 is energy saving. Number 7 is automation and process improvement. Number 8 is wastewater treatment. And lastly is advanced manufacturing. So in conjunction with the 9 research priority areas that was listed before, the research project must always be related to rubber product manufacturing industry and also beneficial to any cess-paying rubber product as listed in Appendix 2 of Table 1 in our application guidelines. And we also expect your research project to be ready for commercialization after the project is completed. And in your research proposals, you are also required to include the proof of concept and also activities for pre-commercialization or prototype development in the project proposal. So regarding the Appendix 2 of Table 1 in the application guideline, I will show you the example first. Okay, this is our application guidelines. I hope you have received the guidelines before the meeting. If you go to the end of the guideline, you can see here, there is a list of cess-paying rubber products just for your reference. Okay, that is on the introduction for the Industry Linkage Fund. I will proceed with the second section, which is the eligibility criteria to apply under the funding. So who is eligible to apply under the funding? Actually, the ILF is open to all researchers who are employed on a permanent or contractual basis with the following organisation. Number 1 is public and private institutions of higher learning in Malaysia. For example, currently UiTM. Secondly is Malaysian research institutions such as Lembaga Getah Malaysia or SIRIM. And lastly is registered industry in Malaysia. This is for the rubber product manufacturer in Malaysia. However, do take note that all research proposal will require to have a collaboration between the industry and university or research institutions to be eligible to apply for the funding. And for researchers, you can submit multiple applications at one time, but if let's say you submit 3 applications and 2 is approved, you can only lead 1 approved project at any time. While for the second project that is approved, you can still be in the project, but not as the project leader, maybe as a deputy project leader or normal project team. So next is the scope of funding. For the scope of funding, MRC has allocated a total of 3 million for the project that is approved. And the duration of funding can be up to 3 years maximum. For the size of grant for a project, it can be up to 300,000 maximum. So currently we have 2 channels of funding, which are number 1 full grant and number 2 is matching grant. Full grant is actually a grant that will be given to project that will offer industry-wide solutions. And for full grant, the project will be led by the university or research institutions. But like I've said earlier, it must have a collaboration with the industry or with the industry partner. While for matching grant, the grant will be given to a project that will only benefit specific company only. And for this grant, it will be led by the industry, but also it must have collaboration with university or research institutions. Okay, for the scope of funding, let's say in your research proposals, the funding can be utilized for the following categories of expenditure, such as research materials and supplies, minor modification and repairs, prototype development, special services such as sample testing and analysis, wages and allowance, travel and transportation, and also rentals. But for the scope of funding, do take note that if your project is approved under full grant, the amount of categories that is colored in blue here, for example, wages and allowance, travel and transportation, and also rentals, should not be more than 50% of the total project cost. While for matching grant, there is no such limitation, and the funding can be utilized as according to your research proposal. So next is the application and approval process. This is the simplified process flow of how the application process, starting from your proposal submission until the first fund disbursement. So let's say if you have already a specific project that you wanted to apply under the Industry Linkage Fund, firstly you can go to our website and search for the Industry Linkage Fund. And then there is our online system that you need to log in and fill in your particulars first. Firstly, you have to submit preliminary proposals in our online system. And this is the first proposal that you need to send, which is only a brief description of what your project is going to be about. The preliminary proposal will then be screened by the ILF committee, which consists of several industry experts. And if the committee agree for the proposal to go to the next stage, which is the full proposal submission, then you can proceed to do so, to submit a full proposal which contains a lot detailed information of what your project is going to be about. The full proposal will then be evaluated again by the ILF committee, and before final approval, we will call the project leader and also the industry partner for a presentation session and further Q&A session with the ILF committee. On the proposal submission and until the presentation stage, the ILF committee may request the project leader to submit an improved proposal or corrected proposal before you can go to the next stage. And even after the presentation stage, the ILF committee may request you to submit the improved proposal before we can proceed to approve your project. So let's say after the presentation stage and the ILF committee agree for the project to be funded under the ILF, we will proceed with the signing of agreements and giving of letter of awards before we proceed with the first fund disbursement. And for your information, you can submit application all year round at our website. So on the application, all application must be accompanied with an acknowledgement letter from the respective company or respective industry collaborator on the agreement to collaborate together with the university in the research project. And if you maybe you don't know where to find a suitable rubber product manufacturer as your industry collaborator or industry partner, you can go to our website and search for MRC Marketplace in order to identify the suitable rubber product manufacturer as your industry collaborator. However, the potential collaborator is not limited to the listed company only, and it can be other company that is not listed on our website. For example, I will open the MRC website. Okay, this is our website, or you can just search for Malaysian Rubber Council. And go to Marketplace. Under the Marketplace, you can find a lot of rubber products manufacturers according to their category. Let's say I wanted to make research on rubber gloves, and I wanted to find a rubber glove manufacturer. Then I can just click the rubber glove, and under the rubber glove there is a few companies that is listed here. For example, medical glove, clean room glove, and you can find the listed company together with the email address and also a telephone number or website for you to contact the person in charge for the company. This is just for you to find the industry partner lah, if you don't have any idea where to find the industry partner. Regarding the industry collaborator need to show some kind of commitment in the research project, whereby 50% of funding from the total project cost. Or it can also be through in-kind contributions, in which the examples are listed but not limited as below. This is just for the example. Maybe the industry collaborator can provide research materials and testing facilities in the project, verifying or validating test results, provide technical support and guidance, or they can also provide production lines for trial. This is just for the examples of in-kind contributions by the company. And the reason why we wanted the industry collaborator to show some to give some kind of in-kind contribution is because we wanted the company to really show their commitments and full support in the project, and to make sure that they are aware of what's happening in the project instead of just 100% leaving it to the university. So at the end of the projects, industry collaborator is also encouraged to commercialize the project research funding after its completion, and MRC may also consider converting the application for matching grant to full grant if it is deemed appropriate. So these are the selection criteria of how the committee will assess the research proposal. Firstly, based on the scientific and technical merits. Number two is the research competence, in which the researcher must have some kind of backgrounds of doing research related to rubber sector before. Number three is the innovativeness of the research, how the research going to help the industry of its completions. Number four is clear and measurable output. There must be some kind of clear indication what the output of the project going to be after its completion. And number five is the project must include a proven concept or is ready for prototype or pre-commercialization after its completion. Okay, on the first proposal that you need to submit, which is the preliminary proposal, these are the evaluation criteria that are going to be taken care of. Firstly, there are three main criteria here, which is the highest one is the industrial impact, or how the research going to give benefit to the industry after its completion, which is 40%. Second criteria is the research quality, which is 30%. And lastly is the feasibility study, which is another 30%. On the grading of the preliminary proposals, if your proposal is graded as 60% and above, then your proposal will be eligible to proceed with the next stage, which is full proposal. While if your proposal is graded as 59% and below, unfortunately, the proposal will be rejected. So on the next stage, which is the full proposal submission, there is a lot more criteria that going to be assessed. Still, the highest one will be the benefit to the industry, 40%, and followed by the technical aspect of the research, 20%, the uniqueness or the innovation aspect of the research, 10%, the financial or the cost-benefit analysis of the project, 10%, the capability of the researcher, 10%, the duration of the project, in which it can be up to 3 years maximum, and lastly is the literature review of the project, which is the last 5%. And for the grading of the full proposal, if the proposal is graded as 70% and above, your proposal will be shortlisted for the next stage, which is oral presentation and Q&A session with the ILF committee. And even after the presentation session, the committee may request for resubmission of improved proposal before they can make the final decision whether to approve the project or not. And if your proposal is graded as 69% and below, unfortunately, the proposal will be rejected. So we have come to the last part of the presentation, which is on the project implementation and monitoring. Okay, for your information, if your project is approved, the fund will be disbursed quarterly per year for an approved project. And before we can proceed with the next fund disbursement, you need to submit a progress and financial report to MRC at the end of each quarter. And the progress and financial report will be assessed by the ILF committee to see the progress of the research. And the project leader and the industry partner may also be invited for interim project presentation to the ILF committee, and this can be maybe once a year. And before the project can be regarded as completed, a final project report will need to be submitted within 1 month after the project completion date. And before the project is completed, the project leader, together with the industry partner, will also required to attend the final presentation upon submission of the final report. Okay, this is just for your information on the intellectual properties or IP. From the funded project, the project leader is required to generate IP, one IP only, for example, patent, copyright, or industrial design. And the IP cost will be borne by MRC, and it will not affect your approved research grant. So on the IP that is generated from research project under full grant, the IP shall be owned by MRC to make it accessible to all eligible rubber industry members for free. We do not put any charge to any eligible rubber industry members that wanted to see the information on the project. And for IP that is generated from research project under matching grant, the company will be given an exclusivity period for up to 5 years before it is available for open access to all eligible rubber industry members, again for free. Okay, if you need further information, you can visit MRC ILF website, which is stated here, www.myrabacouncil.com/industry linkage fund. And you can also submit your application all year round at our website. And for any inquiries, you may email the ILF Secretariat, the inlinkfund@myrabacouncil.com. Before I proceed with the Q&A session, I would like to show you the MRC's ILF website. Okay, if you wanted to go to our website, you can just search Malaysian Rubber Council. Malaysian Rubber Council and go to the online services. Under the online services, there is a button for the Industry Linkage Fund. Okay, this is the specific website for the Industry Linkage Fund. If you wanted to apply, you can just click apply now and then go to this button. And for first-time user, you need to create an account first. For example, I'll click account, then you can submit your identification card number together with your university, telephone number, and also your email address for us to contact you. You can also find the application guideline at our website. Click application guidelines. We have included the guidelines on our website for your reference. Besides the application guidelines, you can also find the approval process for you to refer back if you are not sure what the approval process will be. Okay, again, on our website, we have also included some presentation slide from the Malaysian Rubber Product Manufacturing Associations, Malaysian Rubber Glove Manufacturers Association, and together with a few companies that is listed here, Ocean Rubber, KL Kepong, and Heavy Rubber Product that has participated in our previous industry university interaction session, which was conducted last year. There is also some presentation slide from other universities and also research institutions such as MRB here, just for you to refer lah. And also we have listed the approved project on our website. For example, we have one completed project by MMU, which the title is Prediction and Control of Humidity of Glowformer in Vulcanization Oven. You can click here and then you can read the summary of the completed project. Other than the completed project, we have also included another approved project, which is you can see here from Utah and EcoWorks on the lightweight concrete panel. There is a project from USM and Eversafe Rubber Works on Malaysian green precured tire tread liner. There is another project from UiTM and Ocean Rubber on base isolated for seismic response. And then one project from UTM and Ocean Rubber on development of viscoelastic damper. And the last project that we have approved until now is from USM and Everbright, paint coating on super hydrophobic latex coating. Okay, I think that is all on my presentation section. If you have any questions, you can directly ask right now, or you can email us using the email as stated here.
Thank you, Chairman Nordin. We have one question from IR Dr. Noria there in chat box. Salam, application are all via online ke?
Yes, all application can be submitted via online on our online system, like I mentioned earlier.
So kita tak ada hard copy, semua online sekarang kan?
Betul.
Yeah, correct. Anyone want to ask a question can ask directly to Encik Aminuddin. We have now around 43 participants, Encik Aminuddin, with us.
Okay, banyak tu.
Itulah, Alhamdulillah. Cuma sikit lah saya nampak ada Encik Aminuddin do mention about the patent fee. It will be there by the MRC, so it should be included also in the budget ataupun dia asing.
In the budget, you don't need to include the API applications.
Okay.
We will.
It's not included dalam budget, tapi it will be bound by the MRC.
It will be using our own budget, not.
Okay. Not budget ILF lah kan?
Bukan.
Okay, alright. Yeah. So, any questions from the participant? And then we also have post some Google form link if any of our researcher have intention to submit for this industry linkage funds in the chat box. Yeah. So far we have around 4 yang dah bagi summaries lah berminat untuk menghantar ni. And then actually we also preparing a takwim lah sebenarnya untuk our researcher as a guideline, Encik Aminuddin. So suggested for if we go for June punya meetings, we should submit, the submission should be in the early May, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. In early May or in the middle of May also can.
Okay, in the middle or early May. Okay, to be safe, early May lah. Alright.
But it's okay if you cannot submit it earlier. We can bring your proposal until the September committee meeting lah.
Okay.
No need to rush lah to write the proposal.
Okay.
Take your time.
So for this grant, actually we have two types. One is a full sponsors, and then another one is a matching grant, which are the money is actually a part of the money is from the company, or the proposal is actually specific to the company. What is the difference between that?
The difference between full grant and matching grant is full grant the project will be funded by MRC wholly, while for matching grant the project will be funded half by MRC and half by the company or the industry collaborator lah. But we are also instead of giving 50% of contribution, we can also you can also get some in-kind contribution instead of 50% of the grant for the matching grant.
Okay. So that means it's matching between the company and MRC.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right. So any questions from the participant? Is it possible in the website of MRC we have a list of companies for this ILF? If the researcher approach company that are not listed in the website, is it possible?
Yes, you can also approach companies that are not listed on our website. On our website, just for your guidelines, if you don't know where to find
All right.
sometimes the researcher don't know where to find the industry representative. So if you already have another company that is not listed, we can also accept your company as long as it is relevant to the project itself.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Apa lagi? Yes, any questions, participant?
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Noliana from UiTM Pulau Pinang.
Okay.
I'm currently doing research on my PhD study regarding the crumb rubber. We are using crumb rubber as a supplementary for the sand in mix to the concrete. So is it possible if we apply for this fund? The crumb rubber is from Tire West.
We cannot hear your sound. Yeah, can you repeat back your question?
Okay, alright, sorry. So just to confirm, so you are using crumb rubber mixed with the sand. So and your end product will be, is it like a concrete block?
Yes, it's a mortar.
Or mortar? Yes, sure. You can apply for with our funding program for this.
Can apply,
But then you can apply, and but then you need to get industry partner for your project.
So my industry
Preferable
partner,
someone that a company that can like verify that your product is workable, and then maybe they can do some testing for you.
Maybe a company that can produce the mortar itself.
Yes. And once complete, maybe they can produce the mortar for sale.
For commercialization after the project is completed lah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So have the project currently started actually?
We already do the testing for the compression test of the mortar mix. So currently the mixture will be tested for retrofitting on the structure.
Okay, that's nice. And some more you already have because we preferable for you to submit the prelim proposal to provide us with some prelim data, some testing that you already conducted, because the committee doesn't want anything fundamental. So it's better if you have some raw data that to prove that your ideas or your proposal it can work, then it will be much better opportunity for you lah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Alright.
Yeah, about that things there are some in the slides that explained by Cik Aminuddin. Project with proven concept or prototype, isn't it? So it must be in the stage of pre-commercializations.
Yes, it must be in the, at the end of the project. The project must be able to be commercialized and benefit the industry itself. And usually the project that is very fundamental or very exploratory will not be accepted by the ILF committee lah. Just for your heads up.
So the main thing that first researcher have to seek for the collaborators from the industry partners that wants to do the research with them, then they can work from that and then submit the proposal, isn't it? The industry partners must have in the proposal for ILF.
True, it is actually a requirement
Yes,
to submit your
because you need
proposal.
to upload the letter,
Mhm.
the letter of intent during your proposal. Even preliminary
Submission.
section, you need to upload.
Okay, all right. So the first thing, when you have some ideas or some research, you need to find a collaborator, industry partner first. Then we can start with preparing the proposals and submit to the system, isn't it? Actually, for informations, Cik Aminuddin and we have also Puan Shariza here.
Shafinas.
Puan Shafinas here from MRC. We also have another webinars from our recipients of MRC grants, which are Professor Dr. Noor, Director of ISM, and also Dr. Patrick from Doshin. So next week on Wednesdays, that will be sharing on the tips of winnings the grants with us. So maybe the same audience or participant today would like to hear about the technical parts, the tips on the winnings, the grant proposal, because there are some questions here from Dr. Noor. Please explain more on technical parts in proposal evaluations. Dia nak tahu tips ni.
I can leave to Ms. Shafinas.
Okay.
Okay, it's on the technical part of the proposal evaluation. So I think you are referring to the full proposal, correct? So basically, we will look at your just I mentioned just now the prelim data. We will look at it, the data, and then they will look at the method that you propose, because these people are actually they are expert in from rubber industry. So they know everything about latex and also on the dry rubber side. So if like you were saying like blending with some chemical, with some alcohol, then they know whether that method is workable or not. So they will look from your methods, from your materials, what types of material that you are proposing, and then some data that you include in your proposal. So this is part of the technical lah.
I think the technical part should be can leave it to the committee and also the project leader to propose lah. But the main thing here, the main thing that the committee wanted to see is actually whether the project can be further commercialized after its completion, and whether the project can give benefit to the industry after the completions.
Because we don't want something that is like after complete, it just like put on display. So we want someone out there can benefit from your ideas and your innovations, and your technical expert.
Okay, so it's actually we need some preliminary data on the proposed research, isn't it? And also it have potentials to be commercialized.
Yes.
Isn't it? And of course we need to very details in methods, because they want to know what we want to do.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I think in terms of TRL, it can be from TRL 3 until 7, from proof of concept until
so it's not, we're not talking about TRL 1, 2 or 3. So it start from TRL
3
until 7.
3 to 7. Okay. So any more questions before we end our webinar? So okay, here Secretariat also has post link for registration for this webinar, and maybe Cik Aminuddin or Puan Shafina has some last words to our researchers today who attends the webinar.
We just like to say thank you for your time to attending this session. So if anything you have questions or you want some assistance from us, maybe like try to get you connect with our industry members, then you can just contact us lah. So you can contact Mr. Amin. You can drop us an email, and we will assist you from there.
Maybe if you wanted the presentation slide, we will give it to the research nexus for UiTM lah for the.
And just like small advertisement, so we will come up with another funding program in June. So it's also for a research grant, something like industry linkage grant. And for that, once we have launched it, then we will invite you guys for presentations, for a briefing session, and also maybe we will invite you for the launching event.
Yes, please. We will love to go and orang kata apa ni tadah tapak tangan tu nirukan tadahkan. Please let us know, okay? And then we also are very thankful for MRC having us today. And insyaAllah, we will submit the submissions for proposal for in early May for the June cycle, insyaAllah. And thank you Puan Shafinas and also Mr. Aminuddin to be here with us, and thank you to all participants. So don't forget about our next week webinar on the tips for winning Malaysia Rubber Council Industry Linkage Fund by Professor Dr. Noor and also sharing with Dr. Patrick from Doshi Rubber Products. Next week, same actually same time around 2 to 4 on the Wednesday. And with that, I end these sessions. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And till we meet again. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Siti Noor Hajjar, and also thank you to UiTM for giving us opportunity to give a briefing on the industry linkage fund itself. And thank you to all participants for spending your time to come here today, even though you have busy with classes and all. We really appreciate your attendance today. And we also look forward to receive application from UiTM on May.
InsyaAllah. Terima kasih. Dan jangan lupa jemput kami lah the next briefing.
We will send the invitation to the
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.